Parshas Vayechi, unlike any other parsha, begins without any space between it and the parsha before. And Chazal ask, Loma parsha zu stuma? Why is it that this is a closed parsha? It just flows from the previous one. It's sosum. So the first answer they give is that in this parsha, Yaakov Avinu passes on. And when that happened, Nistamu Einehem V'libam Shel Yisrael, their eyes and hearts were nistam, they were closed. And that was the beginning of Golus Mitzrayim. That was the beginning of the years of suffering. In the beginning of Parsha Shmos next week, the introduction to Golus Mitzrayim, to our suffering there in Egypt, was that the entire generation of the children of Yaakov Avinu, they all passed on. So long as they were alive, there was not yet the beginning of Golus. The Jews in Egypt were not yet turned into slaves. It sounds like Vayechi, where Yaakov Avinu passes on, was the beginning of that process. The passing of the whole generation of the children of Yaakov Avinu, that actually made for the beginning of the enslavement. But when Yaakov Avinu passed away, there was something that happened that enabled it. Nistamu einehem v'libam. Something about their vision and their hearts, their insight, their feelings. It was nistam. It was closed. They were in a fog. And that enabled the suffering. You know, anti-Semitism is still in the headlines. It's still on the minds of so many in Western civilization who were able to pretend that it really didn't exist. In these parshias, we learn what enables the Jewish people to become victims. So long as Yaakov Avinu was alive, our vision was clear. Our vision was sharp. Our hearts, they were strong. Our passion, our idealism, our clarity of sticking to our values, of our role in the world, all of that was clear. And so long as that was so, the Jew could be fearless. No one starts up with us. The first thing that has to happen is that we lose our clarity. That sharp vision. Knowing precisely what we're here for. and the passion that goes with it. Once that is dulled, we're vulnerable. And from Chazal, we see that happened with the passing of Yaakov Avinu. The children of Yaakov were great. There was something about Yaakov Avinu that made everybody, every Jew, made him live with that clarity. Who was Yaakov Avinu? Who was Yaakov Avinu? The pillar of emes, of truth, of living in the house of Lavan, infamous for his dishonesty, and giving it his all, being a loyal shepherd to him, in the cold and the heat, taking full responsibility, even though the terms of employment were changed over 100 times. The Yaakov who was a twin brother of Esav, but was not confused, knew right from wrong. The Yaakov who ran away to study under Shem and Aver, to find truth because that's all that counted. His thirst for Torah was thirst for truth. So long as he was around, everything was clear. It's been a long time since then. We were in much higher places and then came down. And if there's one word to describe where the Jewish nation is today in terms of ideology, the answer is confusion. Nisdamu einehem v'libam. The respect that the nations of the world had for us in our heyday, the respect we are looking forward to when Mashiach comes, is based on our clarity. They were impressed because we shared one set of beliefs. We knew exactly what everything was about. We were wise. We lived sanely, wisely. When we're confused, what do we stand for already? Yeah, you don't have our values, but you have our talents. Sure, we make our way up there in government. We're successful financially. And when it's devoid of values, they certainly see us as trying to take over the world, I guess. There's the envy and the greed and the suspicion. When the family comes up to Egypt or down to Egypt, and Paro offers positions in the government, and Yosef says, that's not what my family is looking for. They need some grazing land for their sheep, but that's about it. At that point, it was so clear. No Egyptian was going to make any false accusations about the Jews. It was clear that our ambitions were ideological. And that's it. Confusion makes them suspicious. Yes, that was the introduction to Golus Mitzrayim, a lack of clarity. The enslavement didn't start immediately, but its ability to came about because we lost our clarity. Go around, ask Jews, what are we about? You get a whole assortment of either creative or wishy-washy answers. Whether they tell you social concerns or what seems to be the more politically correct answer today, our values are still evolving. Bottom line is confusion. For ourselves, if we really want the respect of the nations of the world that we had in our best days, if we don't want to be viewed with suspicion, we've got to clarify for ourselves what we are, what we live for. That midah of emes of Yaakov Avinu, the truth that he found in Torah, the truth of which he became the pillar of the world. That's where we go. Nothing else is going to help. Nothing else is going to work. Let's stop kidding ourselves. Nothing worked in the past. Nothing will work in the future. Other than taking care of ourselves. Other than assuming responsibility for mankind. Assuming responsibility for morality and ethics in all of humanity. Of really being an Or LaGoyim, a light unto the nations. Only then can we expect anything different. It has to be clear. I don't know that that is the answer the people out there want to hear. But certainly for ourselves, we got to tell it like it is. Yeah, they want us to denounce it. They want us to demonstrate against it. We're not going to decline. We're certainly not for anti-Semitism. But we got to know the truth. Let's stop kidding ourselves. The key to ending anti-Semitism is not to combat anti-Semitism. It's to revive the clarity of the mission among all of Klal Yisrael. Let's begin with ourselves and then get out there and let every single Jew know once again what we are all about. What makes us special, the responsibility we've got, and then you can be sure humanity will respect us. We've got to first respect ourselves and our own values.